You handed me like a pill cocktail and you were like, here, take this and you'll feel better. I did indeed feel better.
Exactly. I know what I'm talking about. Hey Marbles, I'm Carrie.
And I'm JT.
And welcome back to All Marbles Lost. I missed you guys. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be recording again.
You like really threw me off when you said, hey Marbles.
It just be like
Instead
that.
of this is All Marbles Lost. It like really threw me.
I still said this is All Marbles Lost. I normally say hey guys.
Oh, it just really threw me. But I like it. I like it.
You're welcome. So I don't know if you guys have heard, but I pushed recording back so that I could get updates before we recorded. Anissa Weir is being released on Monday, September 13th. And Anissa is one of the girls that was in the Slenderman case from episode 3.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, I think after the case and everything, I think she only ended up serving like 4 years. Hang on, I think I have it here.
That was going to be my next question, was how long was she actually supposed to serve?
She was supposed to serve 25.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she was supposed to serve 25 years because one of them got 25 and one of them got 40.
It's been like 5 years.
It was 2014, wasn't it? Or was it 2018?
I think 2014.
It was 2014. Shows you that I don't remember my episodes as soon as I'm done. But
Oh, I don't remember them either. My mom is always like, oh, I listened to episode whatever, and I'm like, that's wonderful. I have no idea what I talked about.
yeah, Weir, who has spent almost 4 years in a mental health facility after she admitted to taking part in the 2014 stabbing of a friend. Yeah, she's getting released Monday from Winnebago with GPS monitoring.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope she's like doing okay.
I hope so too. Like, I definitely feel like 4 years isn't long enough, but I don't know her situation.
Yeah.
Because it said in the article I read, she said something about, like, I have exhausted all options here and, like, need to rejoin society or something. Like, that was her argument for getting released.
That's kind of odd.
I know. I was like, what does this mean? But yeah, I wanted to make sure I gave you guys an update on that. So if you haven't heard that case, go listen to it's 3, right?
I believe so.
Episode 3. It's the Slenderman case. We both cover it. And then I also wanted to talk about, you guys have doubled our listens in like the past 2 days. So I love you. Thanks.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Also, all the listeners in India, I see you. I see y'all coming out of the woodwork. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, India has like lit up on our map.
Yeah, they're
Of
like
where our listens
over
are.
a third of our listens right now. So I love you guys. Thanks for being here. And I also have a question for all of you guys. If we were to make merch, what do you guys want? So DM me, email me, tell me what you want so I can put that in motion.
We have some ideas cooking. We've got some things we're thinking about, but obviously we want your guys' opinion as well.
Because the merch is more for you guys than it is for us. So I want to make sure you guys will like it and not just I will like it. And I asked JT to go first this week because he has an uplifting case. So hopefully we'll like put you in a good mood before I ruin your day.
I don't think yours will necessarily ruin people's day.
It ruined my day.
It's just a trip.
It ruined my fucking day.
You're gonna ruin the trip.
Yeah, it's gonna ruin the trip.
And we're already losing our marbles today because we tried to record this morning and there were airplanes circling over our house.
Yeah, we live too close to an airport and they were doing like training or something. I don't know. The dude was out there doing flips. I have a video of it. I'll post it for you guys.
Yeah, we'll post it on Instagram. I meant to have that done already, but I did not.
Well, they're not gonna know because it'll be posted by the time they hear this.
That's true.
Also, 9/11 was yesterday, so just remember all the people we lost and just keep them, alive. Keep that memory alive.
Did you see me check the date? Because I was like, 9/11 is today. And then I was like, oh.
The episode comes out tomorrow.
Listen.
I think that's all my business.
I think that's all mine, honestly. I always think, like, before we record that I want to talk about a bunch of things. And then once the microphone is in front of my face, I'm like, yeah, I have no thoughts.
I put it at the top of my notes.
I really need to start doing that. Because I feel like so many funny things happen to us during the week that we should talk about. And then we just completely
Funny
blank.
things aren't business.
Well, just like things to talk about at the beginning of the show, okay?
I know, I'm just giving you trouble. What are you telling me about today?
So, keeping with the theme of Disney, because I really enjoyed doing the Moana conspiracy, I am doing the Pixar theory, which is the theory that all of the Pixar movies are connected somehow.
I believe this one.
I don't know. It's a little weird to me.
I'm a little weird.
Especially with the way that the theory ends, because it, like, comes full circle.
Oh, I don't know if I know all that.
Yeah, it's like it starts somewhere and then the ending connects to how it starts, if that makes sense.
Oh, I'm very interested, actually.
Are we ready to talk about it? So, the first movie that it starts with is Brave, which takes place between the 14th and 15th century. And it says, it all starts when Merida discovering the will of the wisps, aka magic. The magic turns her mother into a bear. This magic is why animals and inanimate objects, aka brooms and tools, behave like humans. Magic was utilized by a witch who mysteriously vanished through wooden doors. Eventually, the magic from the will of the wisps would lead to the birth of superheroes.
The only thing I can think of from that movie is, I don't know if any of you will know this, but it was a TikTok audio for
I know
a while.
exactly what you're going to say.
And it said something, I don't know, it was like, I turned my mom into a bear. And that's the only thing I can think of whenever I see a character from Brave, someone says, like the movie Brave, I turned my mom into a bear. That's all I got. That's the only thing.
The second movie is The Incredibles, which takes place between the 1950s and the 1960s.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I not think The Incredibles was in the 50s and 60s?
Oh, yeah. If you look at, like, all the cars and stuff and the furniture and the houses, everything is very 50s and 60s
Not
style.
me turning on The Incredibles later.
And even in The Incredibles 2, I think, it's like they're watching movies on an old TV set. And I think at some points they're watching, like, black and white movies.
Apparently I need to go watch that again.
Superheroes maintained order in the world, but Buddy, a wannabe superhero, created two things for the demise of superpowered humans. Self-serving AI bots like the Omnidroid, which I never knew that was the name of the robots.
I didn't know that either, actually.
And the high-tech zero-point energy electromagnetic energy that creates... Or what? I just confused the shit. I just confused the shit out of myself. So he created the Omnidroid and the high-tech zero-point energy, and then in parentheses, electromagnetic energy that exists in a vacuum. So that's the kind of energy that he created.
Oh, yeah, it's just giving you a definition.
Yeah. This is the pivotal moment where we see machines eradicating their own threat, supers. Eventually, toys start to absorb and draw their powers from zero-point energy, unseen energy that travels in wavelengths. So essentially, it's saying that Syndro from The Incredibles is the reason that Toy Story exists, which I think is reaching a lot.
Yeah, I kind of think that's a reach.
Because they're saying that the energy that he created, or that he used to create the robots, is why the toys come to life in Toy Story.
I've always wondered why they came to life, so... I mean, I guess that gives me something, some kind of closure.
I guess. So Toy Story takes place between 1997 and 1998. And this is the original Toy Story.
Yeah.
The first signs of life from toys are now present due to Syndrome's technical powers. Toys or sentient objects come up with a code of rules and learn that human love is another energy source upon which they thrive. These toys discover what happens to toys that are isolated from humans.
Why can't I run off love?
Yeah, that would be really nice.
My days would be so much easier. Maybe if humans were powered from love, they wouldn't be such assholes all the time.
Were you going to say dickheads?
I was.
I saw it.
I was.
So Toy Story 2 takes place in 1999. The toys discover that it is dangerous for them to be isolated from humans. We start to see inanimate objects question their purpose in life. For example, Jessie resents her owner, Emily, for abandoning her. Resentment towards humans was not only carried by inanimate objects, but by animals as well.
Someone really did a lot for this.
Yeah.
They really pieced together a lot of things.
Oh, this is like an official website. It's on pixartheory.com, and this is the whole website. Is literally just these little blurbs about the movies and how they fit into order.
And also, I will actually put that in the show notes because last time I said I was going to put stuff in the show notes, I didn't do it, and I apologize.
It's all good. So next is Finding Nemo, which takes place in 2003. In the ocean, we find that fish are incredibly advanced. They have schools, a network, and a freeway system. We discover that humans are polluting the earth and experimenting on them. Dory was one of the animals that was experimented on, which is why she is forgetful. There are signs of resentment growing towards humans for polluting the environment, stealing fish, and caging them. Animals begin to be more curious and carry more humanistic characteristics.
Oh my.
How did that connect to Toy Story?
I don't know. I was like trying to connect it to Toy Story in my head because I was thinking like, I thought about Finding Dory when they're trying to get to Dory. They could have like used toys from the gift shop to help them.
Yeah, that's true.
Like because, in like a crossover?
Because if it was all the same universe, then technically the toys from Finding Nemo would be sentient as well.
Yeah, but there's too many people around for them to wake up.
That is true.
I say like wake up like they're not just pretending, but you know what I'm saying.
I guess it's just saying that like toys are resenting humans and now it's...
And so are fish.
Yeah, so are fish, I guess.
And so are humans, so...
Everybody's resenting everybody.
No, we're all resenting humans.
There's the episode title, Resentfulness.
Resentful to humans.
Yes.
Resenting the human race.
So next is Ratatouille, which takes place in 2007. In Ratatouille, Remy discovers his love for cooking and displays human characteristics. Some of them are walking on his hind paws, cleaning his hands, reading, and cooking. This is the first time we see personal interaction between human and animal, but it is for the purpose of controlling humans. Remy controls Linguini because Linguini does not know how to do anything. Wow, that's so harsh. We see that Remy's rat clan does not approve of the humans and feels both fear and hate towards them.
So what I'm getting is every single Disney movie, no one likes the humans.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, I felt that. That's so harsh, though. He doesn't know how to do anything.
Yeah, it is. It's a little aggressive.
So then why is Remy like, yeah, I'm going to take that upon myself. You see that one? He's trash. I'm going to fix him. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Let me find the stupidest one, and I'm going to pick that one.
Next is Toy Story 3. Hot take, this movie sucks.
My least favorite Toy Story.
Yes. Takes place in 2010.
That's probably why. 2010 was not a cute year for anybody.
No, it really wasn't. 3 years later, toys have gone through a lot with humans. If you've seen the movie, you can tell why most of the toys have had it, being abused physically and emotionally by humans.
Me too.
I was going to say relatable content, but that's dark.
We run a true crime podcast. A lot of this is dark.
That's true. Lotso the Huggin' Bear straight up hates humans because they use and discard toy objects like they are nothing.
And you know what? I hate him.
I also hate Lotso. That's like the main reason why I hate that movie so much. It's just because Lotso is so annoying.
He can hate me as much as he wants because I fucking hate him too.
He starts trying to take care of his own kind. This provides yet another reason why machines and objects alike are ready to take over. Carl and Ellie write to Andy telling him to get rid of his toys because they know the animosity between toys and humans coming ahead, and that's why they are planning on living in solitude. That is actually a thing that I'm going to talk about it later when I talk about Easter eggs in the movies. On Andy's wall in his bedroom, there's a postcard that's signed from
Carl and Ellie?
Carl and Ellie, yeah.
Which is, they're the couple from Up.
Yeah. Which is leading into the next.
Right. We didn't say it, so.
Which I don't think I said that I'm going to talk about it, but I am going to talk about Easter eggs that link the movies together.
Okay. I'm excited.
Obviously, the next one is Up, which takes place between 2011 and 2016.
Hi, I'm Doug.
I am going to talk about Doug and Easter eggs.
I love Doug.
The Doug movie, though, I don't know how that's going to go down.
I don't know. I tried to look it up, and I didn't find anything about it.
I saw it on Disney Plus, or I saw, like, at least an ad for it.
All right, I'm gonna have to look into that. We'll report back to you and let y'all know how the Doug movie is.
So in terms of Up, Carl is forced to give up his house to a corporation slash BNL. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. It might be like the name of the company in the movie or something.
Maybe. Because they are expanding the city. This is foreshadowing. This corporation is the cause for polluting the earth and wiping out life in the distant future as a result of technology overreach. Carl discovers that animals can communicate with humans and sees the bitterness that they have. Charles Muntz effectively trains an army of dogs. This is the start of the tipping point between animals and humans. I feel like I've read that 1,000 times. This is the beginning of...
This is the beginning of the end.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the resentment.
It's just because we keep restarting it.
What do you mean?
We're like, oh, yeah, we resent you, and then something happens, we're like, I guess you're okay. And it's like, no, we hate you again.
Yeah. Years later, the uprising between animals and humans begins. Who do you think won the war?
The animals.
You think the animals won?
At least against me.
Well, the next movie is Cars, if that tells you anything.
We both lost.
Apparently, this says that the movie Cars takes place between the years 2100 and 2200. I don't know if that's ever specified.
It's not.
Also, I feel like that's not true because they talk about Route 66 and, like, all of the buildings are old-style buildings.
Yeah, and, like, they have, like, old oil cans and...
Yeah.
Unless it's, like, a Fallout situation.
I don't think so, though, because...
There was a war between the humans and the animals, and we destroyed everything, and the cars were like, oh, it's for us now.
I mean, I guess if I read it, we would find out.
Well, read it to me. I hope that's what it says. I hope I'm right.
When animals rose up against the humans to stop the pollution, the machines saved the humans, and they won the war. However, since machines helped humans win, it tipped the balance on Earth. Machines had to send the remaining humans off into space on a ship called Axiom, which is the ship from WALL-E. All of the other machines were left behind to populate the world and run things. But how do we know Cars took over Earth and not another planet? I don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very like open-ended question in terms of like I don't know.
Route 66. That's all I've got. But
that's how we know it's
okay.
Earth.
But I was kind of right. We both lost the battle.
Yeah.
Because the machines were like, "Yeah, we got you," and it's like, "Okay, we helped you, so get out."
Okay, but like, why is that going to be real life?
Elon Musk's robots—they're gonna kick us out.
Did we talk about that on the show?
Yes, we did.
Okay, good. Because I wanted to mention it.
They're easily overpowered. I hope we did.
I think so. I think we talked about it last episode.
I think we did too. Sorry, y'all, if we didn't talk about that. Email me and let me know, and I'll tell y'all about it.
Next is Cars 2, which also takes place between the years of 2100 and 2200. Still skeptical about that.
Yeah.
I feel like they're doing that just for the sake of...
Timeline?
Yeah, for the sake of it making sense.
I could kind of see that.
In Cars 2, cars go to Europe and Japan, which shows that it's the same planet as all the other Pixar movies. Oh, so I guess the end of the last one was just leading into, like, the question about Earth.
Gotcha.
It also shows that there are no humans throughout the world. The world at this time ends up with an energy crisis as oil is the only energy used for cars. Allenall Corporation was using green energy as a catalyst for fuel war in order to turn cars away from alternative energy sources. That clean fuel could have been used to swiftly wipe out decommission many of the cars.
I like that you made a hand motion to show the punctuation.
I made parentheses with my hands.
You said, what does this say?
Allenall was run by BNL, which I guess is...
That must be the company.
It's supposed to be probably like the corporation that's taking over everything. Yeah. Which eventually polluted the whole Earth due to its use of oil. The whole world becomes unfit to sustain life.
We're working on it.
Yeah. But how does Cars 2 actually end?
I don't remember.
Because I feel like they solved the problem at the end.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in so long, but I really feel that they're reaching because I think they solved the problem at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a Disney movie where they don't.
Yeah. But now they're like, the world becomes unfit to sustain life. Like, okay.
Are the cars alive?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be, like, sentient.
They're sentient, but are they alive? Because they don't breathe?
I don't know. Somebody Google, are the cars from Up alive?
From Up?
Or from Up? Are the cars from Cars alive? I don't know where I got that.
I'm not really sure, buddy.
So if you didn't guess, the next one is Wall-E, which takes place between the year 2800 and 2900.
I've never seen Wall-E.
You just broke my
I knew
heart.
I knew I was going to. I've been debating for the past couple minutes on if I was going to say anything or not.
You literally just smashed my heart into 1,000
I
little
really
pieces.
kind of thought you were just going to lean forward and pause the recording and be like, "We're watching it."
No, we are going to later.
Okay. Is that a threat?
It's required by
Okay.
law.
Understood. Understood. We're
Okay.
watching Wall-E.
Yes. It's so adorable. They like barely speak in that movie, but it's literally the cutest thing ever.
Is that your official review?
Yes.
Got it.
Wall-E, cutest thing ever.
Got it.
Earth has become uninhabitable for hundreds of years due to BNL. The corporation took over the world/government starting in the 1950s. Wall-E is the only machine left on Earth after it ran out of resources. He survived because he is fascinated with human culture and also his friendship with a cockroach, which helped maintain his personality and fulfillment.
Okay, I'm really interested in watching it now.
Yeah, he has a little friend that's a cockroach. It's so cute. And then he meets a futuristic robot and falls in love with her.
I knew that. Is her name Ava?
Eva.
Eva.
I don't know why that's so relatable. Which helped maintain his personality and fulfillment.
What, being friends with bugs?
Just like having a friend that like helps you with that. Robots slash machines on Axiom, having left Earth centuries earlier, show that machines develop a sense of purpose out of the humans' dependence on them. Wall-E is a robot Jesus?
Wait a damn minute.
What? If you can't tell, I wanted to react to these like fairly, I don't know, organically, so I didn't read all of them.
Yeah, I want you to know he did his whole notes and then said, I think I'm going to change my topic, and then changed his topic.
Yeah, so I have more Disney stuff coming because my previous topic was still Disney related, and then I found this, and I was like, I have to like dive headfirst into this.
And we're going to save the Disney conspiracy theories for next time I do a really heavy case, so you guys don't have to hear two heavy things back to back.
Yeah, because I don't want to like burn all of my like happy stuff right now. Okay, back to Wall-E is a robot Jesus, and he and his love, the appropriately named Eve, save the human race and start a new beginning on Earth again. During the credits of Wall-E, we see the shoe that contains the last of plant life. It grows into a mighty tree.
What mighty tree?
What do you mean, what mighty tree?
Does the mighty tree, is that in another movie?
Maybe, or
What's the next movie?
A Bug's Life?
Oh, it probably is a tree in there. I was thinking the Whispering Willow from Pocahontas.
Oh, no. I don't know. I don't think that's a Pixar movie. I think it's just a Disney movie.
Oh, you're right.
What is the difference between Disney and Pixar?
Well, they're different companies.
Well, these are still Disney movies.
I don't know.
It's just like Disney Pixar.
Yeah, I think both companies win in on those movies.
Oh. Because I was thinking, I was like, you're not telling me that Toy Story isn't Disney, because like I can disprove that.
Walt Disney bought Pixar in 2006.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. For $7.4 billion.
Honestly, I thought it would have been more.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say million or billion?
Billion.
Oh, never mind. I thought you said million. That's why I was like, what?
I might have, but I meant billion if I said million.
I think you did say million.
Apologies.
Are we ready to continue?
Yes.
So, A Bug's Life. That same plant we see in Wall-E grew to be the tree in A Bug's Life.
There you go.
The tree in A Bug's Life, as if
Apparently
there
there is a main tree. I think they all live in one big old tree?
They're ants. They live in an anthill.
Is it next to the tree?
I don't know, maybe. I haven't seen A Bug's Life in so long.
I haven't either.
Oh, this movie takes place between 2898 and 3000, by the way.
We're really going out there.
Yes. So, insects have a longer lifespan in the movie A Bug's Life. Prior to Wall-E, an ant can survive just 3 months. However, in A Bug's Life, these ants all survive an entire summer and altitude to being or altitude. Jesus, I'm so dumb. Allude is what I was looking for. And allude to being around for quite some time. One ant states that he feels 90 again.
Again?
Yeah, what?
Oh my.
This indicates that ants are sturdier as a result of evolution and mutated genes.
I don't like that the ants are being referred to as sturdier.
Yeah, I don't like that. Because sturdy just makes me think of, like, beefy.
It makes me think of like a table.
Oh, it made me think of, like, a dog. I don't really know why, but I thought of dogs.
I wouldn't describe either of our dogs as sturdy.
Finn is a sturdy boy.
He falls down every day.
He's a sturdy boy. You be nice to him.
Okay.
Another ant tells Flick, which is, like, the main ant, not to leave the island because there are snakes, birds, and bigger bugs out there. They do not mention humans because there are very few humans to make it dangerous enough for insects to worry about. However, one kid did allegedly pick the wings off of the homeless bug.
The homeless bug?
There is nothing else about it. It just says off the homeless bug.
And somebody stole his wings? Damn, my man going through it. I actually think I know what bug it is. Like, I think I can picture him.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure.
Later in the distant future, animals start evolving into the dominant species.
Okay. Yeah.
So, again, this is really reaching because it's saying that we started with humans, and then it moved to more dominantly animals, and then the humans fought the animals, and then it was machines, and all the humans left, and then the humans came back to Earth after WALL-E, but then the humans are gone again?
No, I think what humans were left came back. There just wasn't a lot of them.
Oh. Well, next we're moving to Monsters, Inc., so that's where I'm, like, confused, because, well, no, there's humans in Monsters, Inc. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You're not stupid. That's not what I was saying yeah about.
Yeah, you are a dumb bitch.
No, negative. Not what I was saying.
Next is Monsters University.
Oh, I really thought you were gonna, like, roll into Lion King there.
That's just a Disney movie. That's not a
Is it?
That's not a Pixar movie.
Man, I'm really, like, hurting my own feelings over here. I really want these to be in this.
I can do how all of the main Disney movies are connected, because those are all connected, too.
I thought we were doing a Disney break, buddy.
Well, I just mean, like, in the future.
Maybe. We'll see.
Monsters University takes place between the year 4500 and 5000.
We're, like, going.
Yeah. We started in the 14th and 15th century.
So, I mean, that would make sense, because if the humans came back, they're obviously repopulating. And now we're another, 1,000 years into the future?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Hundreds of years after WALL-E, animals started changing due to radiation caused by BNL. These animals evolved into monsters and accidentally wipe humans off the face of the planet. What?
Wait a damn minute.
That doesn't make any sense.
There's definitely humans in those movies.
Monsters University was founded in 1313. This is dated using the monster calendar, not the human calendar, and shows that it took place almost 1,400 years after A Bug's Life. At Monsters University, they falsely taught the monsters that humans were toxic and from another dimension. This was because monsters were worried about being erased from existence and altering history.
We got a 2319. We got a 2319.
I'm confused about the wiping humans off the face of the planet.
I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, that just got pulled out of thin air. Because it says that they teach the monsters about humans at Monsters University.
Yeah.
So they obviously exist.
Unless they're saying, like, they just, like, segregated them? Like, the monsters are over here and the humans are over here?
I don't know. Because, like, if you think about it, in Monsters, Inc., where are the monsters in perspective to the humans? Like, could the monsters, in theory, get to the human world without using the doors? Do they ever, like, specify that?
I don't think so, because remember in Monsters, Inc., they try really hard to get Boo's door back together because there's no other way for them to get her home. So are the humans on a different planet?
That's what I was thinking. Are they saying that the monsters are on Earth and then the humans are on another planet?
Maybe.
I feel like that's the most plausible.
Yeah. Keep reading. Maybe we'll learn.
Monsters, Inc. takes place between the year 4500 and 5000, so same as Monsters University. Monsters and Machines didn't realize their mistake of getting rid of humans until it was too late. They eventually realized that humans were their source of energy and needed to sustain life. Machines help solve that by letting monsters use doors to time travel to the human generation. This leads us to Boo. So are they saying that the monsters are time traveling when they go through the doors?
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
I feel like that would be mentioned.
Yeah. They're really reaching.
It's fine. It's fine. We're reaching. We do a lot of that.
So this is where it comes full circle, because this isn't on here, but I read this separately.
Got it.
Because literally the last sentence on this website, it says this leads us to Boo, but it gives no further explanation. I read that in this theory, how it connects back to Brave is that Boo is the witch from Brave. Like how it says in the beginning that magic was utilized by a witch who mysteriously vanishes through wooden doors.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
That's Boo.
Yeah. Because the witch in Brave is a wood carver.
Yeah.
So it's saying that Boo was trying to find Sully.
Right.
And went back in time by accident to the 14th and 15th century.
Mm-hmm.
Is a wood carver who makes magical doors, and now she can go wherever she wants.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I
that's
think the full circle kind of makes sense.
Yeah. The years though, that's kind of tripping me out.
That's a big time frame.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies though.
Yeah, there's 14 movies that are mentioned in this.
I think that's pretty dope. I think it's dope that people like take the time to find all this shit.
Yeah, that people care about it that much and are that invested.
Yeah. Like, I wish I had the time for that. I just have the time to tell you all about it.
I have two more things that I want to talk about. And the first thing is just some Easter eggs that I thought were really interesting. In Toy Story, on the minivan, the license plate, it has the letter A and then the number 113.
Mm-hmm.
It says A113 is an animator's inside joke. It refers to a classroom number at the California Institute of the Arts, where many of the Pixar folks get their start.
That's pretty cool. Is that the minivan that Andy's mom drives?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay.
And it says that this number is actually in every Pixar movie.
I like that. So I wonder if other people that go to that school but don't like work for Pixar like notice that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm very curious.
The next one is Riley in Finding Dory. Riley is the girl from Inside Out.
She's the main character, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This says, she's almost as hard to spot as a camouflaging septopus, but Riley from Inside Out is one of the aquarium visitors gazing into Dory's tank in Finding Dory.
I think I remember seeing her.
Here, I have the picture. I can post the picture on Instagram. She's, like, in the back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely her.
The next one is Doug is actually in Ratatouille.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Though we don't see the face of the dog that barks at Remy in Ratatouille, from its shadow you can clearly see that it's Doug from Up. If he only had his talking collar, he could say rat instead of squirrel.
Oh, yeah. You gotta post that one, too.
I will. Yeah, it's definitely Doug. Oh, did you know that the voice of Mr. Ray and Doug and a couple other like side characters in Pixar movies are one of the lead, I don't know if you would say directors, one of the like main people that works for Pixar. He does the voice of like Mr. Ray and Doug.
Oh, is he like a producer?
Maybe.
Gotcha. Do you know his name?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I just know that he's like a really important person in Pixar, and I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wonder like how that came about. Like it was just like someone dropped out and they were like, "You, get over here."
Yeah, maybe. The next thing is Lightyear tires in Cars. Lightning McQueen races on Lightyear tires, which is a reference to Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
sorry.
Go ahead.
I always just thought it was making fun of Goodyear tires.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They should have put like a bad year or something.
Terrible year tires.
Yeah. I also want to mention, I always thought this was interesting, that the Dynaco gas station is a big thing in the Pixar movies. That's Disney's like gas station that they created to have in their movies.
It's in all of them, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I think it is.
The last Easter egg that I thought was super interesting. There's a whole list of them online, by the way. I think there's like 50 in total. These are just the ones that were interesting to me. The last one is the old man in Toy Story 2 that comes to fix Woody.
Yes.
At Al's house.
Mm-hmm.
Is actually from a Pixar short film called Gary's Game, which is the one... Have you seen the short film about the guy playing chess with himself?
Nope.
Oh. Well, he's in that short film. It's an old man in the park, and he's playing chess, but he sits at both sides of the table.
Like he gets up and moves, or he is a clone?
He gets up and moves.
Okay.
But it's just the whole short film is him interacting with himself.
Got it. Okay.
And it's just kind of cute.
The only short film I've seen is the one where that woman makes a dumpling, and then it becomes her child, and then she eats it at the end of the short film. I don't really know.
Oh, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. You haven't seen... This is like classic Pixar. I think it's before Finding Nemo, like on the DVD.
Mm-hmm.
The Snow Globe one.
I don't really find the short films interesting, so I haven't seen any of them.
I was obsessed with the Snow Globe one.
Yeah,
or the bird sitting on the wire.
Nope.
Oh my gosh. The final thing that I want to talk about is some places that you can find the Pizza Planet truck from Toy Story throughout the Pixar movies. There's so many places that you can find it. In Ratatouille, it can be spotted crossing a bridge at the 1 hour and 14-minute mark of the movie. In WALL-E, it can be found 21 minutes in, and it says that Eve scans the truck when she's looking for stuff on Earth. In Up, 22 minutes in, when Mr. Fredricksen releases all the balloons and takes off in the house.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the street view that they show, you can see the truck there.
Is the truck yellow?
Yes.
I thought so.
It's yellow and white.
Yeah.
In Cars 2, you can see it 37 minutes in, and it's one of the racing spectators. I thought this one was wild. The witch in Brave is carving the truck in one of the scenes out of wood. I don't know how I never noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I feel like that would be really noticeable.
I almost wonder if the truck is in every Pixar movie. It's just a matter of like how small or how quick it shows it.
I mean, in Toy Story 4, it's literally in the movie for like 2 seconds. It's a tattoo on somebody's leg.
I'm obsessed.
Did you not know that?
I did not.
In Monsters University, it can be seen outside of a frat party at 18 minutes. In Inside Out, you can see it in one of the memory balls, like very, very briefly, at 37 minutes. In The Good Dinosaur, this is interesting. When they show all of the meteors, one of the meteors is shaped like the truck. And that's 1 minute into the movie. In Finding Dory, you can see the truck in the ocean. And it is 18 minutes into the movie.
The truck's in the ocean?
Yeah, like wrecked at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
In Coco, the truck drives by Miguel's bedroom window.
I thought you were going to tell me in Coco it's in the afterlife.
No, but I did see one of the Easter eggs was in his bedroom. He has a Day of the Dead version of The Incredibles movie poster, which
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. And the last one I'll say is actually the tattoo of the truck from Toy Story 4, and that is 34 minutes into the movie.
And it's on someone's leg?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
And that's all I have for you guys.
That was good.
I just thought that was super interesting.
Yeah. You going to give us some more heavy stuff next week?
Possibly, yes. I am ready to be taken on a trip with your story.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's gonna be real cute. Hang on. So, I am going to tell you guys about Jan Broberg, which is the woman from Abducted in Plain Sight. I think we said Kidnapped in Plain Sight in the last episode. The movie is Abducted in Plain Sight, and you can watch it on Pluto TV right now. It's a free app. We got it on our Roku TV. It took us like 2 minutes.
It does have ads, so be warned about that.
Yeah. And there's no, like, lead up to ads. Like, it just stops in the middle of a sentence and then it's just playing an ad. So you will probably think it's part of the movie. It's what kept happening to me, at least. So I did my full notes and then I watched the movie. So I'm going to, like, tell you the whole story and then just, like, give you my reactions to the movie, I guess.
Your movie notes?
Yeah, my movie notes, which were just typed on my phone. So Jan Broberg Felt is an American actress, singer, and dancer. She's in over a dozen films, and I have some of just, like, the big ones that I recognize, which was Slaughter of the Innocent, Bug Off, Hope for Troubled Teens, and she has a small role in Iron Man 3. She's, like, a side character, which I thought was really cool. I had to dig a little bit for that one, actually.
Did we ever figure out who that was?
I did figure it out, but I didn't write it down.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I was just curious because I really like Iron Man.
Right. We're going to watch it again just so you can see if you can find her. She also plays a main role in Baptist at Our Barbecue, and she co-starred with Elijah Wood in Maniac.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And she was in a ton of TV shows, too. I think she's in Criminal Minds. She's in Touched by an Angel, Promised Land, Remember Me, and Everwood. And that's not all of them. That was just, like, the first couple. She's also a veteran stage actress, which I thought was really cool. I think stage actresses are, like, dope. She had starring roles in The Sound of Music, I Do, Jane Eyre, My Fair Lady, and more.
Oh, wow. So she's, like, doing a lot.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm going to tell you about her childhood. She was born July 31st of 1962, so she's 59 years old now. And she was born in Pocatello, Idaho. Is that Pocatello?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Her parents are Bob Broberg and Mary Ann Broberg. Mary Ann was a stay-at-home mom, and Bob was a florist. And she was the oldest child, and she had two little sisters, which was Karen and Susan. I feel like those are the most, like, 70s names.
Yeah.
Jan, Karen, and Susan.
And Bob.
And Bob and Mary Ann.
This is not related, but I still want to ask about this. I wonder how they made it work, because I feel like florists don't make that much money. And then for her to be a stay-at-home mom.
He must have been making good money.
I don't know. To me, a florist just doesn't seem like a high-paying job.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be in Pocatello, Idaho.
Or maybe in the 70s it was like a bigger
maybe
industry. I don't know.
I can only think of like one florist around here.
Isn't there one like right down the street?
Yeah.
Is that the one you're thinking of?
So they were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. Which, do you know anything about that?
The Latter-day Saints?
Mm-hmm.
Possibly.
Because I didn't. So I looked it up for you.
Okay.
And this is from Newsweek magazine. It says, no matter where the Latter-day Saints live, they find themselves part of a network of mutual concern. In Latter-day Saint theology, everyone is a minister of kind. Everyone is empowered in some way to do good to others and have good done unto them. It is the 21st century covenant of caring. Oh, and I got that from a Newsweek magazine, but Elise Sukup was the original person who wrote it, which was from a different Newsweek article from October 16th of 2005.
Okay.
So basically, they're just like a very caring group of people, it sounds like.
So I actually did not know anything. I thought it was going to have like a negative connotation to it.
No, it just seems like they're very like caring and forgiving. Forgiveness was a big thing I heard in everything I read. Like they're known for being very forgiving.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it's a good thing.
Yes. The whole family, I believe, is actually still a part of the church.
Yeah, I think I remember you talking about that. What?
Latter-day Saints are Mormons. That's the same thing. Hang on, give me a second.
They're talking about the Latter-day Saints.
Okay, so my roommate just educated me. Apparently the Church of the Latter-day Saints is basically the same thing as Mormons. I had no idea. And apparently there is a large population out west, like in Utah.
We have been schooled.
I have indeed been schooled. They've been schooling me for years because they're very smart.
Okay, but why haven't they been a guest on the podcast?
They have social anxiety.
Well, that's fair.
In June of 1972 is when the Broberg family met the Berchtold family because they moved to the neighborhood and they were also a part of the same church.
Welcome to the beginning of the end.
Yes, this is the real beginning of the end of my sanity.
Yes.
I reached new levels of losing my fucking marbles while trying to do these notes.
Yeah, everybody please, like, buckle the fuck up. Like, you have no idea, if you've never seen this movie, what you're about to walk into.
So Robert Berchtold, his wife Gail, and their 5 kids moved into the same neighborhood as the Brobergs. Robert Berchtold, I'm going to call B for the rest of the case because it's just easier because Jan's father is also named Bob and they called him Bob. B was born February 7th in 1936 in Tremonton, Utah. Tremonton? Tremonton.
I would say Tremonton.
Okay. It's the only time I'm going to say it, so. He served in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War, and after the war, he came home and got married to Gail, and they had their children. And when they moved to Pocatello, he ran a furniture store. So he was also a businessman like Bob. In January of the year they moved in to the neighborhood, so of 1972, B got a slap on the wrist from the church for trying to integrate himself into families with young daughters.
What?
Yes.
Did they mention that in the movie?
No.
Okay, because I really feel like they should have.
Yes.
And also, like... okay. I'm gonna shut up.
You're gonna save it?
Yeah.
Putting a pin in it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yes, in January, so just a couple months before he met the Broberg family. And the church found out about this and they decided to handle it within the church instead of getting the law involved.
They should have plastered that shit on every wall everywhere and, like, let everyone know about it.
Well,
Like, knowing the rest of the story, obviously.
yes. Hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
So the families met at church and that's where they learned they lived in the same neighborhood. And B and Bob bonded over their backgrounds because they both, like, ran businesses and, like, had their own store. And they also bonded over being family men because they were both very family oriented. And Marianne and Gail bonded over their family and their faith. So they're very similar families.
Yeah.
And B stepped in almost like a second father to all of the Broberg girls.
Worming his way into a
Yes.
family with young girls.
Yes, integrating himself into a family with young girls yet again. Nobody at church saw this. Like, we had just had an issue. No one watching out.
Yeah, I feel like everybody should have, I don't know, jumped on that.
Exactly. So the families became so close. Jan even described B as a second father. And she went on family vacations with them, which makes me uncomfortable because she was the only kid that went.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Because he had kids that were all similar ages to each of the sisters.
But yet she was the only one that went.
Yes. As the families got closer, B learned that Jan and Karen were sharing a basement bedroom. It was a big bedroom, but they had to share it. So he offered to build a wall in the basement to give each girl their own room. Because he did the whole, like, oh, you're getting older, like, don't you want your own space? Which, understandable, yeah, probably. But this gave him secluded access to Jan.
Yeah, he just wanted to isolate her.
And the family knew about the issues from January of that year where the church had given him the slap on the wrist. And he was open about it and he was telling them, he was giving them a story saying it was because he had been molested as a child. And he went to them and convinced them that his therapist had told him that he needed to sleep in Jan's bed with her.
This is the most wild thing I've ever heard.
To complete his therapy.
In what world does that make sense?
What therapist says, I want you to go sleep in your friend's kid's bed?
Yeah, no therapist ever. And also, don't you think that if that was a real thing, that the therapist would have contacted, like, the Broberg family, and been like, hey, is this okay? Because this is what I'm like telling him to do.
Oh, B had that handled. He said, oh, you can call my therapist and ask.
So the therapist did actually say that?
No, they didn't call.
Oh, he was just offering that reassurance to make it seem real.
Yeah. Bob said, oh, no, we trust you. And they let him sleep in her bed with her. She was either 11 or 12 at this time.
These parents need some sense knocked into them.
This was what Marianne said about it. Neither of us was comfortable with him doing it, but it was his therapy.
Still, you're allowed to deny that.
You're allowed to say no, especially when it comes to your children.
Yeah. You shouldn't, like, be okay with that out of, like, decency, air quotes, of being like, oh, well, we can't tell him no because that's, like, not a decent thing to do.
Yeah. Let me quote my favorite murder real quick. Fuck politeness.
Yeah, like, this whole thing, it just shows you about, like, the times. Because they're like, oh, it's the 70s, like, times are different. We can't work people up about things. We can't, I don't know, be mean.
And that's what a lot of people that we have talked to throughout the week has said about the case. They're like, well, it was a different time. But there is still red flags.
Yeah.
The fact that both of them said they were uncomfortable and still just let it happen. And also, did nobody ask Jan?
Yeah, how did Jan feel about this?
Nobody asked her. And obviously, Jan was B's end goal. He wanted to get to Jan. And Marianne and Bob were in the way. So he charmed them too. He seduced Bob into giving him a hand job while they were out in the car together. I don't really know how that happened.
It was...
Oh, I know, like, what occurred. I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Because he was basically like, my wife doesn't satisfy me. I need relief. And he said, okay, and gave him a hand job.
Like, do it yourself.
Yeah, you have hands.
Yeah.
And then he started an affair with Marianne as well. And this is a quote directly from Marianne. Berchtold began saying things to me that were very exciting to hear. Oh, you have a beautiful body. And those legs? And I got this... And I felt this fluttering inside of me. He could give me a great feeling about myself. Yeah, well, he also attacked her daughter.
Yeah, like, whoop-de-doo. He said you have nice legs. What does this have to do with anything?
And she said all of this after the case happened.
This is not related, but, like, tangentially related. Just because I was thinking about how charming he is. Does he have any kind of, like, diagnosis? Because don't they say, is it sociopaths? Or no, not sociopaths. What are serial killers normally diagnosed with that it's like they're very charming?
I would have to look because I don't want to be wrong.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though?
Like, whatever they diagnosed Ted Bundy with.
Yeah.
It's where you can, like, mimic emotions.
Yeah. To be able to come off as very charming and, like...
Yeah, I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, so I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, but I was just wondering if he had a diagnosis like that because he was able to charm all of these people.
Not that I know of. He did spend 6 months in a mental institution at one point, but there was really, like, nothing that came of it.
Okay.
I'm going to take you to October 17th of 1974. B calls Marianne and tells her that he can pick Jan up from her piano lessons, and he asks if he can take her horseback riding. And Marianne is kind of apprehensive. She's like, I don't know, like, Bob's gonna be home for dinner, like, she has to be home by dinner, and he promises, he says, I'll have her home by dinner, it's gonna be fine, we're just gonna go horseback riding. And Marianne says, okay, it's fine, what could go wrong? So B goes and picks Jan up from her piano lessons, and he offers her an allergy pill before they go see the horses. And it was a sleeping pill. So she's been drugged and she falls asleep in the car.
Wouldn't you be totally sketched out if somebody who isn't your family is like, here, have this allergy pill?
It was her second dad.
I guess. Still, I don't know if I would take pills from people. Then again, it's a different time. That was 50 years ago.
You
so.
took pills from me when you barely knew me.
You know what? I felt like I was going to die, so...
Just saying, you walked up to me and said my head hurts, and I said, I can fix that.
You handed me like a pill cocktail and you were like, here, take this and you'll feel better. I did indeed feel better.
Exactly. I know what I'm talking about. So B has drugged her, and he stages an alien abduction. Yeah,
I can't handle this story.
I have to laugh, but it's an uncomfortable laugh.
Yeah.
It's not because I think this is funny. It's because I'm fucking uncomfortable.
I'm laughing at the idea of it.
The audacity.
Yeah.
To pull off a plan this big.
And also, I'm kind of laughing about picturing him, like, somewhere recording these, like, alien tapes or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just comical to think about.
So Jan wakes up and she's tied to a bed. And she feels like she's moving. Like she's, like, swaying. So she realizes they're in a motorhome that's driving. And it says a small intercom device next to her. I'm pretty sure it was just a cassette tape player.
Yeah, it was a tape recorder.
Yeah. And the voices from the box tell her that they are aliens and they have come to Earth from a dying planet. They tell her they have been watching her since she was born and she has been chosen to save their planet. This is a quote from her. They said that they had been watching me since I was born, and I had been chosen to be impregnated with a child that would save their planet. They called me the female companion, not knowing what they meant by that, and that I would be given further instructions when I met the male companion. I'm gonna assume you all can guess who the fucking male companion is.
Yeah. So is he driving the motorhome while this is happening?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because it's his motorhome. I wouldn't imagine anyone else driving it.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah. After 3 days, Jan wakes up to find that the motorhome is not moving anymore. And the intercom tells her to go to the front of the vehicle. So she does. And she finds B there. And he is, like, his knuckles are bloody and his face had blood on it. And no one explains that.
Was it, like, to make it seem like he had been fighting someone?
I think so. But does that mean he beat the shit out of himself?
Maybe. Or he just, like, cut himself and put the blood everywhere?
No, like, she said, like, he had cuts on his face and his hands, like...
Oh. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, what did you do? And he obviously acts like he has no idea what's going on. And he acts just as confused as she is. And then the intercom clicks back on and gives more details about Jan's mission.
I wonder how he controlled that, like turning it on and off.
I don't know.
Like at the right times.
Yeah.
Because I feel like technology wasn't that great.
Mm-hmm, because it was 74.
Yeah, and if it's just like a cassette player.
I don't know. B said he was told by the aliens he was the male companion and that he needed to get her pregnant by the time she was 16 so that they could save the aliens' planet. She's 12 at this point in time. And the recording also told her if she didn't follow the aliens' orders, her and her father would die, her sister Karen would go blind, and her sister Susan would take the place as the female companion.
This is so terrible.
And then over the next month, B raped Jan repeatedly. They are also in Mexico. He drove the motorhome all the way from Idaho to Mexico. And he did that because you can get married in Mexico at the age of 12 without parental consent.
That's insane.
So he married her in Mexico.
Was she okay with it at this time or no?
She was already brainwashed at this time.
Okay. I was wondering if she like was aware that it even happened at this point.
She, at this point in time when she was 12 years old, she thought this is what was supposed to be happening. Because those 3 days, that tape playing over and over and over again, brainwashed her.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was on the right track.
Yes. So back in Idaho, when the Brobergs realize that she isn't coming home, they call the sheriff. But they call the sheriff to say there might have been a car accident.
Which is the most weird thing ever.
And this was just like shortly like after dinner or like during dinner, just because they had agreed she would be home before dinner.
Yeah.
So they had no inkling that this was a kidnapping. They didn't think it was going to be. And the next morning, Jan is obviously still not home. But B's wife, Gail, convinces them it's fine. They don't call anybody for 3 full days.
Is this when she dials up the FBI?
It is. After 3 full days, Marianne calls the FBI.
That cracked me up. I don't know, like, why I can't get over that, but in the documentary, when she's like, so I dialed up the FBI, I'm just like, what?
I know, and she's like dialing it on like the old
rotary phone.
The old rotary phone, yeah. So when she calls the FBI, it's a Saturday. So the office is closed for the weekend.
Why does the FBI close for the weekend? Can I ask that question too?
Well, it's like not every office closes for the weekend. But because the recording said, if it's an emergency, call this office. So do you know what Marianne does?
I believe I do.
She doesn't call that office. That's for sure. She says, well, I didn't want to get everyone worked up.
I was going to say, don't you know she's a woman in the 70s and she, I guess, has to know her place and not get people worked up?
Every motherfucker in the world would be worked up.
Literally.
If I was missing for 12 hours, my mom would burn down the entire state to find me. So by November, so this has been several months that she has been gone, B calls Gail and says, we're in Mexico. I need the Brobergs to bless our marriage so I can bring Jan back.
What does his wife think about all this?
That's what I want to know, because she is fully on his side at every point. She's covering his ass and making things happen for him.
And he has 5 kids, right?
Yeah. None of the kids are ever mentioned.
And maybe just for, like, privacy's sake. But, like, I need to know what the kids thought about this.
Oh, I do know that during the documentary filming, they reached out to them and they were all like, oh, I don't really want to dig up the past. Just leave it alone.
I just want to know what they were thinking at the time. Because it's like, oh, yeah, my dad ran off with a 12-year-old and married her in Mexico. Like, what?
Right. Like, oh, yeah, my dad's been gone for 3 months. He kidnapped some 12-year-old and they're in another country. Like, huh?
Bananas.
What? So thankfully, her parents finally put their foot down and say, fuck no. And they fly to Mexico. So November 23rd of 1974, the police raid the motorhome and arrest B. And her parents are already there, so they, get their daughter back and they want to take her home. And she's like, well, why isn't B coming? Like, we have to bring B. She doesn't think anything wrong has happened because B and the aliens had taught her that everything had to be kept a secret. So she assured her parents, that was a lot. So she assured her parents nothing improper happened between them.
And aren't her parents just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
They're like, oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just move on.
Yep.
I would be like hounding her, be like, no, something weird had to have happened. Like, are you sure nothing weird happened?
Yeah, I really don't know. I really need answers that I don't even have questions for yet.
But then again, I don't know if you're going to mention it. Don't they have her examined?
Yes, I didn't find that in my research, so it's in my movie notes, but you're right. They did take her to get a physical examination, and there was no evidence of sexual trauma, but it's because when B was raping her, he would only insert himself an inch into her.
Yeah.
It was to, 1, not break her hymen, and 2, he wanted her to enjoy it as well, apparently.
Which makes no sense, but okay.
Because she's fucking 12. Oh, sorry, I'm heated. So, they only charge B with kidnapping. And, of course, he gets another slap on the wrist. Do you want to know why? Because Gail goes to their house and says, I'm going to tell everyone that Bob gave B a hand job if you don't drop the charges. So they're like, oh, well, that can't happen. So they drop all the charges.
I would be like, okay, tell literally everybody on this planet. Yeah. Like, be like, that's fine. I'm going to protect my daughter.
Yeah. But no. So they drop all the charges, and the families stay pretty close.
That makes absolutely no sense.
They stay so close that Marianne and B fall in love. And they start an affair together for nearly a year.
Oh, you kidnapped my daughter. I love you so much.
Marianne claims they met up 8 times, But in the documentary, it says 11.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was more than that.
Yeah. In all the notes I found, like the articles said 8, but the documentary said 11. Gail later uses this against them again. And this is when they write the letter saying, like, they're not taking legal action because the kidnapping had been a misunderstanding.
Yeah, because isn't it that in the documents it says, like, we gave her permission to go?
Yeah.
And, like, all of that stuff.
Yeah, you can kind of read the document in the documentary. I tried to find it online so I could read part of it to you guys, but I really couldn't find it. I think it's only in the documentary.
Probably. It's probably, like, recently surfaced information.
Yeah. So, for kidnapping Jan, B does less than 2 weeks in jail. And he, after he comes home, he continues to sneak and visit Jan. They write letters, they talk on the phone. But, of course, sometimes when they were on the phone, the aliens took over and reminded them that they needed to complete their mission. B would also sneak into her bedroom at night and leave the brainwashing tapes playing. And on numerous occasions, he would also rape her.
That's so awful.
Mm-hmm. So, not only is she not away from him, he is still continuing to brainwash her.
Yeah.
And this continues until 1976. So 2 more years. And one night in August, B climbs into her window and tells her they're running away together. So Jan packs a bag, and B tells her she needs to leave a note. This is the note that Jan leaves. You won't let me do what's right, so I'll do what's wrong. I do not plan on coming back. I just want to be me and have B. Let me go. And they both sneak out the window to B's Lincoln Continental, and they head south to Cali.
At this point, she's, air quotes, in love with him, right?
Yes. She's been brainwashed to the point where she tells her family she wants to marry him.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure everybody was, like, in the know.
Yes. And Jan's parents really believe the note. They really think she ran away. And they think she isn't with B.
Investigate. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Like, look into it, think into it, like, use your context clues. I don't know.
Yeah. In the movie, the FBI investigator, his name is Welsh, is his last name, I believe. He makes a comment where he was like, we poured all this hard work into catching him, and then they dropped the fucking charges against him.
Yeah.
And then this time, the family was like, oh, she ran away. And Welsh is like, no, she fucking didn't.
Yeah, literally. The FBI is telling the family, like, she didn't.
Yeah. And they're like, but she left a note and said she's not with B. And they're like, well, then where the fuck is he? Where the fuck is he?
Yeah.
It takes them 3 months to find her. So they find her again in November. Because they finally figure out where he is. And eventually they raid his trailer, but she isn't there. So they're terrified that they have really lost her. But he had enrolled her in an all-girls Catholic school, and she was at school.
I don't know if you're going to mention this. I don't want to, like, keep bringing things up.
No, you're totally fine.
But when they raid air quotes, his motorhome, and she's not there, that's when they find all those pictures, right?
Yes. The whole motorhome is covered in poster-sized pictures of Jan.
That's so creepy.
In the documentary, there's a quote, and it says, it was a shrine to his child bride. And it makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah. That's so disgusting.
When B enrolled Jan in Catholic school, he convinced the school that he was in the CIA. And that Jan was his daughter, and that anyone that was going to come looking for her was one of the bad guys.
How do you just convince a school of that?
Also, who are the fucking bad guys?
The FBI. Probably.
No, like, who did he tell the school the bad guys were?
Oh, probably, well, yeah, that's true. You're saying, like, did he say it was, like, Russia or something?
Right, like, it's supervillains? Like, oh, those are the bad guys. Like, are we playing cops and robbers?
I guess.
I need answers. So when the FBI does contact the school, they're like, I don't really know who I'm supposed to believe here, the FBI or the CIA. The one guy from the CIA with no badge and no credentials and no backstory.
What I was going to say, like, I need to see some credentials.
But of course they're the fucking FBI, so they get her out of the school.
Yeah.
And she is once again sent back to Idaho, and B is once again charged with kidnapping. And it is Jan later recalls after this, like after she starts to realize everything that has happened, she recalls that B raped her over 200 times, but there was never once sexual abuse charges brought against him.
That's so awful.
So this time for the kidnapping, B is sent to a mental health facility, and he is released 6 months later. But before he goes to the mental health facility, when he's in jail, he paid 2 men $1,000 to burn down the Broberg store. And they did. I want to know, did he pay them $1,000 each? Was it $1,000 period?
Also, that's like not that much money.
Yeah, because that's not enough. That's what I'm saying. Like, that is not enough money to commit arson.
Yeah.
I want to know if it's, did you get $500?
To possibly kill people.
Right. Did you get $500 to burn down a building? To ruin someone's livelihood?
Yeah. This whole story, I feel like there's just so many unanswered questions.
Yes. So as Jan approaches her 16th birthday, she still believes that she is on this mission. That she has to have a child with B before she turns 16. So she is terrified that these aliens are going to destroy her whole family. The summer that she turns 16, she asks to go to theater camp. And it is while she's at theater camp that she starts to question whether the aliens are real or not.
I wanted to ask this question. Is it weird for me to think that, like, I don't know, I feel like she should have gotten pregnant by now if she was raped like 200 times?
I kind of think that, but I also don't know, because my thinking is if he was only inserting himself an inch into her, and he obviously wasn't, like, rough or aggressive with her or anything, like, he was very gentle and slow, I don't know if he ever, like, finished.
I got you.
I don't know, because I didn't want details on it, so I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to hear details.
Yeah.
I was just
But I definitely understand what you're saying.
I was just thinking, like, she's very lucky that she's not pregnant.
So, Jan creates a plan. Her plan is to kill herself and her sister, so that neither of them have to be the female companion. That's how brainwashed she is. She genuinely thinks that she has to kill herself and her little sister just so they don't have to do this.
That's so terrible.
Yeah. But she starts to realize all of the things that she is expecting to happen aren't happening.
At least she's able to separate a little bit, like, to the point of questioning.
Yeah, because she could have very easily been brainwashed to the point where she just killed both of them, and that would have been the end of it.
Yeah.
But as she's starting to get closer to her birthday and she's realizing none of this is happening, she starts to talk to her mom about things. And when she starts mentioning things like this, her mom obviously picks up on it and is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that's when she breaks down and starts telling her mom everything that happened. So Marianne starts documenting everything. Because at first she was doing it just so they had it all. Just so they knew the full story.
Yeah.
But later, Marianne and Jan published this into a book.
Oh, really?
That is the Stolen Innocence book. It came out in 2003.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, it is discovered that B had used this story on other victims. In one instance, he told a young girl that she was a princess from another planet and was also on the same mission.
What in the world?
Yeah, I genuinely, I don't understand. I do not fucking understand.
And why is nobody talking about it?
Yeah, I don't...
If it happened previously.
I don't know. He befriended that girl's mother, who was a psychiatric nurse at a prominent hospital. And she was in B's apartment for 119 days.
The girl?
Yes.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
And the victim's name has never been released. But she said, my mother couldn't see through him.
What the fuck?
And sorry.
Going back to B's wife and kids, where were they during this?
This could have been before.
Oh.
Because he served jail time for this one. He was charged and convicted of rape of a child and sentenced to 1 year in jail. I'm sorry, he wasn't sentenced, but he served 1 year. It didn't say how much he was sentenced.
Again, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Can the episode title just be what the fuck?
B and Gail eventually get a divorce. And B moves to Brigham City in Utah. Brigham, Brigham.
Mm-hmm.
And he remarries there. This time he marries a second grade teacher who has 2 young daughters. Coincidentally, the 2 daughters run away to their biological father's house. Could you tell me why? Because he was sexually abusing them as well. And that was in 2004. 28 years after he had kidnapped Jan Broberg.
That was after?
Mm-hmm. That he got married again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was after. Because he divorced Gail.
Oh my god.
And then, as I said earlier, Jan and her mom collaborated on the book Stolen Innocence, the Jan Broberg story, and that was published in October of 2003. And because of the book, Jan and Marianne go on a speaking tour about the book, and B takes it upon himself to show up at these. He shows up because he feels like he's being misrepresented.
How?
Exactly.
Literally how? You are a pedophile, and you are being shown as a pedophile. You are not being misrepresented at all.
Exactly. So he goes to these and he tells the media, he tells people that are there, anyone that will listen to him, about how these women were telling lies about him.
I hope nobody believed him.
No one believed him. They were all there to buy the book.
Good, because if there was anybody on his side, I don't know, they need to be punched in the face.
Punch a B supporter.
Yes.
So in 2005, Jan was having a women's conference at Dixie State College, which is now Dixie State University, and that is in St. George, Utah. And Jan had asked BACA, which is Bikers Against Child Abuse, to attend the event for extra security. Cannot speak this evening, apparently.
That's okay.
Lee Watson was one of the BACA volunteers, and he got into it with B at this event because B had showed up and was asking if he could pass out pamphlets, and Lee was like, well, I need to see them. Like, I need to know what you're passing out. Well, they got into it because B wouldn't show him. So B gets into his white minivan, and he drives into Lee. And he hits him in the right knee, which knocks Lee down in front of the van. And then he proceeds to drag him 110 yards underneath the van.
So he ran over him and he got stuck under the van?
Yes. It was like he was either stuck in front of it, like he was like holding onto the front of it so he wouldn't go under it.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't kill him.
That's terrifying.
As far as I know, it didn't kill him. I might cut that out of the episode because I don't know if it killed him or not because I tried to find it and I couldn't.
I mean, as long as you specify that, I think you're fine.
Okay. So B obviously leaves the scene. Police were able to find him at a local McDonald's later because somebody recognized his license plate. Like somebody remembered it from the scene.
Yeah.
B was booked into Purgatory Correctional Facility on charges of assault, criminal trespassing, and disorderly conduct. And he was found guilty of all of those charges, and he was scheduled to be sentenced. So he hadn't been sentenced with the charges. So he is still not in jail. So while Jan didn't see B at this event, obviously she heard about it, and it terrified her.
Well, yeah.
So she, worried for her life, decides she's getting a restraining order against him, which he contested.
And what did he say about it?
He told the presiding judge that Jan was just looking for her 15 minutes of fame. Jan stands up in the courtroom and says, "No, I'm doing this because I want to protect families from monsters like you."
Somebody lock him up. That's like point blank period. Somebody just lock him up.
That never happens. But the judge does award Jan a restraining order against B and it was to last the rest of his life.
Good. That's good.
Yes. There was no expire in it, because a lot of times they expire.
Well, that's good, at least.
So Robert Berchtold, age 69, is about to be sentenced for the criminal charges of running Lee over. So B still has no intention of going to jail. So while he is waiting to be sentenced, he overdoses on his own medication, and on November 11th of 2005, he commits suicide and dies.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was dead.
Mm-hmm. He killed himself so he wouldn't have to serve jail time.
Excuse me saying this. I don't know if this is, like, PC to say, but, like, what a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's point blank period. That should be on his headstone.
Yeah. Like, what a fucking pussy.
Like, you had the balls to commit all those crimes, but you can't do the time?
Yeah.
Eat rocks.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Eat rocks. Eat rocks and die. And I hope they're the hardest rocks. I don't hope they're soft at all.
I hope they're not chewy.
Literally. His obituary makes no mention of his horrific crimes. Instead, he is fondly remembered as a truck driver who served in the U.S. Army during Vietnam War. He was survived by his wife, which her name was Deanna. And then it has all of his kids' names. After his death, 6 women came forward to say that they were also sexually assaulted by B. One of those women was the girl from the case I mentioned previously where he served time for it.
Okay.
And at the end of my notes, before I talk about my movie notes, I have a couple quotes. One is from Marianne and one is from Jan. The first one is Marianne. It says, "He was going to have her no matter what, and he'd told me before she disappeared the second time that we would never see her again, that he would take her and we would never find them."
Marianne said that?
Yeah. "He told me before she disappeared the second time that we would never see her again, that he would take her and we would never find them."
Don't you think that you would keep, like, a tighter hold on her then?
I would immediately move out of the country.
Yeah.
They stayed in the same neighborhood with him.
This is such a good example of irresponsible parenting.
Yeah.
Like, I have nothing else to say.
And then I have a kind of more uplifting quote from Jan. "Forgiveness is a tricky word, but now I can live with my tragedy in a way that the tragedy doesn't run me anymore."
Well, that's good.
Yeah, if I lived her life, I would not have been able to do any of the things she did.
Genuinely, I probably would have killed myself.
Yeah. I don't think that I could handle it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But she's a badass.
Yeah, I mean, the human spirit is incredible.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I got most of my information for this case from 2 different articles. One is a darkoutpost.com article, and the title of it is "Robert Berchtold Wiki, the pedophile who convinced his victim she was half alien." And then another one was a medium.com article that was "Kidnapped twice, sexually assaulted 200 times, survivor turns activist." That is all the notes I have from notes I did myself. And then I have just a couple, like, side comments from the documentary that I learned a couple more things. So B called Jan Dolly, and I looked it up, and that stands for my life. And I really feel like that should have alerted somebody of something. Like,
Yeah.
he was very obviously obsessed with her.
And all the pictures that he took of her, why did nobody question that?
Some of the pictures made me uncomfortable. Like, they've left one on the screen in the movie for entirely too long. I looked away. I'm like, this needs to change. I'm uncomfortable.
It's like a low-key, not like scandalous, but just like inappropriate.
Yeah, like, the angle of the picture is very uncomfortable. She's in a short skirt, and she's laying on her side, and the picture is, like, almost level with her. Like, it's almost up her skirt.
Yeah.
And the next thing I have, it just says, "Crying about Jan, but you didn't fucking do anything about it." And I believe that was in reference to her father.
Yeah.
Because he said, "Oh, there was just tears streaming down my face because my daughter was gone, but we didn't want to upset Gail." That's literally what he said. He said, "We didn't want to upset Gail, so we didn't call the police."
Upset everyone.
Yeah. And in the movie, they have B's brother, Joe, I think is his name. He says in the movie he knew his brother was a pedophile.
Yeah, like so wholeheartedly and so genuinely.
Because he said B used to touch their sister. And their sister was 6 years old and B was 12.
Which is so nasty. Like, why did that never come out?
Yeah, you didn't tell your parents. You didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I used to beat the hell out of my siblings for looking at me the wrong way.
Yeah. I'm an only child, but like...
But you've watched me and my siblings interact. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my siblings would fist fight for fun. Not for fun, but, you know.
Yeah.
At the drop of a hat, we were fighting. I would put one of my siblings, like, in their grave.
I feel like this whole documentary was just people not reacting the way that they should. People underreacting to everything.
Yeah, especially, they had one of B's neighbors in the documentary, and he said they went on a boating trip together, and he went home and told his wife, that's the last thing I will ever do with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was in the movie.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he said, I knew something was wrong, and I didn't want any part of it. I didn't want to be around it, and I never did anything with him ever again. So obviously there was red flags that people were picking up on.
Yeah, but it kind of seems like everybody was hoping that somebody else would say something, or that somebody else would pick up on it.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree. Also, there was a couple things that were mentioned in the movie that weren't mentioned in a lot of my research. Apparently, B took Jan on a family trip to Seattle. I think this was the family vacations that I was reading about. But apparently on the Seattle trip, they were in a restaurant and Jan just started swaying back and forth in her chair.
Oh, yeah, I remember them talking about this in the documentary.
So B is like, I'm going to take her back to the hotel room. Like, something is wrong with this girl. Like, I don't know what it is. So he's like, you guys just stay here, enjoy your dinner. I'm going to take her back to the hotel room. And she recalls when she woke up in the hotel room, B was standing naked in front of her.
Which, giant red flag.
Yeah, I don't think this came out until after.
Oh.
But it made me think of that's probably when he, like, first drugged her.
Well, I'm just thinking still she should have, like, known something was up at that point.
Yeah. But that was my thought, was that was probably one of the first points that he drugged her.
Yeah.
Because that's probably where he was, like, doing his testing to see what would make her go to sleep, like, the fastest, stay asleep the longest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, I learned in that movie that Marianne and B had an affair on the church trip. I apparently thought that was important because that's in capital letters.
How scandalous.
I know.
I think that's literally why you cared so much about it. It's just because it seems very scandalous.
Yeah, just because it was the church trip, I think. Also, I was irate the entire movie because every time that Jan's dad is on camera, the only thing he talks about is how he gave B a hand job and is upset about it.
Yeah.
He cries about it like 4 times in the documentary. I'm like, where are the tears for your kid?
Yeah, be upset about your daughter.
Where are the tears for Jan? And that's all that one of her sisters talks about too, was like, yeah, it really messed my dad up. It really hurt him a lot. I'm like,
listen.
What about your fucking sister?
Listen, I'm sorry that you made a poor decision and that, like, you're having trouble with that, but, like...
Jan didn't get a decision.
Yeah, be upset about your kid.
Yeah. And I also learned that when they were doing the therapy of B sleeping in Jan's bed, he slept in her bed 4 times a week for over 6 months.
That's so weird. That's so weird.
I have no comment. I have no fucking comment. Because what the fuck? Also, another thing I thought of when we were watching the movie, the aliens told Jan that she would die, her father would die, Karen would go blind, and Susan would be used as the female companion.
Mm-hmm.
What about Marianne?
Well,
she just got off scot-free?
I wonder if that was at a point where B was in love with her, so he was just like, oh, I'm not going to involve her.
But that makes me think, was he committed enough that he would make all that happen?
Maybe.
Because he didn't put any threats against Marianne?
The going blind thing kind of throws me also, because, like, how would you make that happen? I guess there are ways.
I don't want to...
Yeah, we don't need to think about it, but,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, that just kind of throws me.
This was another thing that was only in the movie. At one point in between the first and second kidnapping, Jan asked if she could go see B in Utah when he moved to Utah.
Mm-hmm.
He bought a family fun center, first of all. The pedophile owns a family fun center in Utah.
Where there's probably lots of children.
Yeah. And Jan goes to her mom and says, I want to go work there for the summer. So Marianne puts her on a fucking plane to Utah.
Irresponsible parenting. How many times do I have to say it?
Because Bob said to her, like, that's probably not a good idea. And she was like, well, I put her on a plane.
Doesn't he literally say, like, you're going to regret this one day? Or, like, it'll be the biggest mistake of your life one day?
And she stayed with him for 2 weeks. And she lived with B for that 2 weeks.
What is Marianne's problem?
I have no idea.
Like, genuinely, she has issues.
I have no idea. But that's all the notes I have from my notes and movie notes. Do you have anything else? Because you watched the movie with me?
No, I don't have anything else.
I'm ready to put that book down.
Yes.
I'm ready to drop that case right where it is and leave it there. So, you got a shower thought for me?
So, I don't have a shower thought, but I have a very, very interesting Reddit post that I saw that I want to read to you guys. Am I going first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, I joined the Reddit thread r/hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just like, it's very wholesome. It's just people talking about what they do for fun. And I joined it just because I was hoping to find something new or maybe interesting to do. But one of the top posts in this thread is titled Fart Jars. And I'm going to read it to you.
Who's the user that posted it?
Posted by user Gowlbag Johnson.
I thought it was going to be something about fart jars.
No.
That's really why I asked.
No. Gowlbag Johnson.
Got it. Okay.
So, as a little lockdown project, I bought a load of empty jam jars, and I fart into one after my dinner every day. The idea is to keep a kind of time capsule of what I was eating at this time. I'll be able to revisit a period of my life, but having the fart jars of different foods I ate sealed in jars and available for a smell if I ever feel nostalgic. Had an unreal Chinese the other night, and I can't wait to revisit it through smell when the mood strikes me.
I feel like fart smells should dissipate.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was sealed in a jar. I'm uncomfortable about the whole scenario.
Well, I have a comment to read because it's hilarious. It's very long-winded, but it's hilarious.
Okay.
So somebody commented and said, just when I thought I'd read every possible thing that Reddit has to offer, I read this. I'm envisioning an earthquake where you dash under a table for cover, which is right next to your meticulous wall jar storage system. The quake then knocks all of the jars off the shelving, shattering them all at once, mere feet from your face, creating an industrial-strength cloud, which causes you to pass out. Also, I have many questions. Do you label them? How do you make sure the fart is captured? Have you unsealed any of the jars yet to confirm this approach works? Can you enjoy each jar more than once, or once it's open, does the scent dissipate? If you can enjoy them multiple times, do you have a favorite that you go back to? How many jars do you have? Do you use a special type of size of jar/lid, or does any jar/lid work? Do you have a significant other? If so, what do they think about this? Honestly, I could keep them coming, but I think this is enough for now. I'm honestly starting to feel a little shame as how many questions I've asked.
Okay, but I have the same amount of questions.
Yeah. Like, I need answers to all of those questions.
Yeah, I need someone to reach out and tell me.
And there is no reply to that.
I hate that.
I hope it's a joke.
I really want it to be a joke.
Yeah. But, like, people are weird.
Yeah.
And it might not be a joke.
I know. I'm uncomfortable. My shower thought is a question for you. Okay? I want you to think of all the rich people in the world. It can be rich people, famous people, just any of that sort.
Okay.
If Jeff Bezos were to become an actual supervillain, who would be the superhero to stop him?
I want to say Elon Musk, but I picture Elon Musk as a supervillain as well.
So think bigger. Or smaller. Wider. Think wider. I have my answer.
I would like to say Oprah. For some reason, my mind goes to Oprah. But I don't know how much I trust her these days.
I have the savior.
Okay, do tell.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
It's Dolly Parton.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you.
If anyone else has any others, do me a favor. You gotta give them to me. I want answers to this question. If Jeff Bezos is a supervillain, who's going to step up as the superhero?
I don't think we're going to get a better answer than Dolly, though.
I want someone to one-up me. Dolly Parton. Someone one-up me. You can DM me on Instagram at AMLPod. You can DM me on Twitter at AMLPodcast. You can message me on Facebook or post it in the Facebook group at All Marbles Lost Podcast. You can email it to me at allmarbleslost@gmail.com. And then after you do all of that, if you still need more, go ahead and head over to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/AMLpod. We have blooper reels and gameplay up, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and go there. Also, when you're emailing me your suggestions for superheroes, send me in your true crime stories so I can put one together. Thank you, guys. I will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.